Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Lucky Money. I hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to another video in the series I'm doing where I'm talking about all the mercenaries. Today we are talking about the engineer, who I think this is the fourth one I've done. So we're about halfway through the series at this point. And we are on the engineer, which is a bit of an interesting class for me. Now, I might not have as much to say in this video as I do with some of the other ones, since the engineer is kind of in the middle. He's sort of just the class where it's like, he's here, there's a few other classes that are kind of in the middle as well, where it's like, you're here, you're in the middle, I don't really have anything negative to say about you, but you're not one of my favorite classes, so it's not like I can just gush about you all day long. So, the engineer is kind of in the middle there. Now, the engineer is actually a class I used to play a lot. I used to play the engineer a ton. He was probably my first or second most played class in the game when I was a kid and through high school and stuff. Although lately I have not been playing him as much. In fact, I got my Australian Frontier Justice. In fact, I think I made the video almost exactly a year ago. Wait, it might, hold on, let me check. Alright, I just took a look and I uploaded my Australian Frontier Justice video on February 5th, so we're coming close. I'm recording this on the 28th. So the main question I'm going to bring up right away is, why did I stop playing Engineer as much? Why did he go down in my rankings? Why is he not my most played anymore? And the main reason that I think I kind of stopped playing him is I just don't really have the patience for Engineer as much as I used to when I was younger. And what I mean by losing patience for Engineer is, I think when I was younger and stuff, I played TF2 a lot slower. I was playing on a computer that couldn't really run the game at a higher frame rate and whatnot, so the classes I played were usually the ones where you didn't really have to do a lot of things that were intense. So I would play heavy, and I would stand on the point and just shoot my minigun at enemies, or I'd play the Scout, which, I mean, Scout's got some pretty complex movement, but I mean, I just had fun running around as him. And I would also play Engineer, where I would just, sentry camp with a level 3 sentry, and I wouldn't do anything for the entire game, and it was fun at the time, I guess, and I had a video where I talked a bit more about this. I think it was the Intel Room episode I did, and that was me sort of in elementary, or not elementary school, but middle school and stuff. I would play Engineer sort of like that, and then when I got into high school, I started playing on a better computer, and I started playing a bit more Battle Engineer, and that's when I got really into the Engineer, and I started playing him because I really liked playing Engineer in that sort of aggressive playstyle and whatnot. So I remember I would pretty much strictly only play like Scout, Engineer, and I think Spy during that time and stuff, because as well, it's just those were the three classes that had the most interesting sort of playstyles to me. And while I'd say Scout and Spy are probably a bit higher for me now, Engineer kind of sank down, and I think that's just because I don't really have fun outside of Battle Engineer, Like, Battle Engineer is fun, and I shouldn't say I don't have fun. I have fun playing Engineer in general, but I think if you can tell sort of by the footage here, I play pretty aggressively with Engineer. I'm building mini sentries all the time, and in fact, I play aggressively to the point where you might be able to tell I sort of neglect my teleporters and sometimes even my dispenser, and that's sort of just because, like, I just get so involved with what I'm doing, and then it's like, well, if I'm just going to place a teleporter and a spy's going to walk up and sap it after like 10 seconds, I'm not going to spend like 30 seconds getting the medal, go into the place, rebuild. Like, I don't really do that. It's a probably irresponsible way to play Engineer, but it's sort of how I've kind of gone about it, I suppose. Now, I should say, I don't only play Battle Engineer, like, I'll play regular Engineer from time to time and whatnot, but whenever it's needed, I guess, is the best way to put it. I'm not going to go Battle Engineer on, like, payload last, when a resupply cabinet is right there, so it's kind of pointless, infinite metal, all that. But I find it's something that, and I'd say as a result, I sort of phase in and I phase out of playing Engineer now, where I might have like a week where I play a lot of Engineer, and then I might have a week or two where I don't touch him at all. It's not like, I just sort of casually pick him from time to time. If I'm picking Engineer, it's because I want to sit down and I really want to play the Engineer. It's not like I'm just going to pick him for 10 minutes and mess around. Like, I pick him because I'm like, you know what? I want to play Engineer. I feel like playing engineer. You know, that's sort of the mindset I gotta be in. And I feel like as a result of that, I don't always have the confidence to really pick him. You know, like I'll join a match and it's like we're getting steamrolled or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not. Like I'm not even gonna try going engine. Like there's gonna be a spy. He's gonna backstab me. He's gonna sap everything. I'm not gonna get anything done. You know, like it's just gonna be a mess. You know, so like sometimes I'll just kind of have that mindset where I'm just like I'm just gonna push him aside and I'll go sniper. I'll go sniper. I'll save the round single-handedly as the sniper. That sounds like a good use of my time. I will say though, when you're in the zone as engineer and everything's going well, micromanaging all of your buildings can be really fun. As I mentioned earlier, I can be pretty bad with teleporters sometimes. Like I think my priorities are sentry or primarily the mini sentry, dispenser that's sort of close to whatever objective we're pushing, and then a teleporter that I put one up at spawn and I put one that's usually a fair distance away from the objective so it doesn't get destroyed immediately. Even then, if I'm on a roll and I'm actively engaged in combat, I'm gonna focus only on the mini sentry and maybe a bit on the dispenser if I need to, but primarily, my focus, everything, it is on the mini sentry, which, like I said, you could say that's irresponsible. I think it's more fun. I just have more fun that way. Maybe it's not helpful to most of the team, but it's helpful for me, and I put myself first when I play video games. I also find sometimes if an engineer already has a teleporter up, I'll tend not to build another just because I think that's a waste, I don't know. When you have two teleporters up, I guess it's more efficient because you can have multiple people teleporting at once and whatnot, but I'm just like, okay, well, I don't need to waste my metal or my time because someone already has a teleporter. I don't know. That's just the way I think. That's the way I naturally play the game. But yeah, that's usually what I do. Now, I also find that when you play aggressively as engineer, I think a lot of the fun from that comes from you getting into like situations that you're really not supposed to be in. You can do this with a lot of classes in TF2. Like, in fact, you can pretty much do that with any class. But I think it's really, I don't know, there's something fun about just being able to walk around the corner towards the other team's spawn with like 7 crits stored up in your frontier. I don't know, it's just, it's fun. I enjoy that kind of thing, and I like that gameplay with Engineer, especially because I had probably 2-3 years where I strictly played Engineer as like a camping turtle in the intel room. So I don't know, I enjoy that kind of play style with Engineer. Now, as I've been kind of talking about, I don't usually tend to experiment too much with Engineer. Like I said, I prefer Battle Engineer, and I'll usually kind of stick to the Gunslinger and the Frontier Justice combo. I feel a little guilty saying this. I feel like the fact that I got an the fact that I won an Australian Frontier Justice, now I have an emotional attachment to that gun, and like I feel like I don't feel like I have to use it now, but it's a gun that like I want to use it. If I'm playing Engineer, like a little part of my brain is like, oh sweet, I get to use the Australium. It's probably, like I said, it's another immature way to look at playing the Engineer, but I don't know, I like it, Probably unlocking that gun through MVM is probably one of the biggest highlights in playing TF2 for me. It's just, I don't know, it imprinted on me in a way. But anyway, I think that's about gonna do it for this episode. I've pretty much talked about everything I want to with Engineer, I suppose. Or at least, my thoughts of playing Engineer as of now, This is just sort of the way I've been playing him lately, I don't play him too much, but I don't ignore him either. And like I said, he's sort of the middle of the pack for me, so I don't really have too much positive or negative to say. He's just sort of in the middle, despite me having a lot of history with him. But again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video, and have a great day.